As you see, this is a new paper from the local pharmaceutical company that you can see right there, right in front of you. Right there, you can see it. Kirka Pharmaceutical. This is where my father, my mother, my sister spent their entire life. And this is where they had me. This is where they had me tortured inside a whole lot. And this is from where I was transported into the Russia, into the Serbia, Belarus. One of the locations where I was transported from. This company practically grew up with me from nothing into a mega corporation. And this is a boy here they have on pose in my face. And he just looks like the boy from Belarus, like a Sergey. Though Sergey is not boys. Somewhat like this. Sergey is already a grown-up man. He's not a boy. And a little earlier, I was watching a movie about a female German who was all beaten up, returning from a Czechoslovakia upon the end of the World War II. I'm sure that whoever you are, you have seen her face on the YouTube. Anyhow, I did respond to that comment. She was a SS officer. She was no regular girl, for one thing. And the second thing is, based on my own experience, whoever you are, and whatever concerns you might have for a human suffering in general, you should know one thing, that they move in through you. They literally search for the comments on a YouTube, and using you, literally, they find new leads for themselves. Through which they progress without absolutely expressing any remorse for whatever society does with you. I'm going to put it plain and simple. That girl came to my attention sometimes in 2011, something like that, 2012. Enough to make a comment. I've seen that before, but in 2011, 2012, I made a comment. But this isn't about that girl. The SS females sometimes are much, much worse than males. Most of the crimes committed were committed by Gestapo, by the SS. And you're talking about the most heinous crimes involving tragedies of entire families. The point about it is the human conscience in this video. This boy was, he met me at the Kirka Pharmaceutical in 2018. He was taller than myself, and I don't know how tall I am. 183 centimeters in English, I don't know. I thought it was 5.9 and I thought it was 6, but apparently it's more than 6. But this boy was taller than myself, and he was with few other kids of his age. And based on my case, which the local directors, Kucha and all this Golop politicians demanded from me to see myself as a Nazi and rate people according to their appearance, visual appearance, I would only say to you one thing. This boy, and I have no idea what he saw in me. He said in me he's going to be with me whichever way I'm going to be with him. He did not even know what the fuck went on. And more likely so, he didn't want to have anything to do with it. I could see this boy in whichever way I would want to interpret it myself. I could see one as a boy from the Belarus. I could see one as a Russian boy. I could see one as a Serbian boy. I could see one as a SS Gestapo boy inside of the concentration camp, a Nazi guard. Whichever way. But this isn't about me. This isn't about me. This is about you, young man. Whether you're in Russia or Slovenia, or you are in Czechoslovakia or Poland, or you are in, of course, there's no more Czechoslovakia, that's why I mentioned, I'm just being a little bit sarcastic about it. Wherever it is that you are, this was not about me. He said, it's going to depend on you. No, no, no. It's not going to be depend on me. And he held this in his hands, and he was showing me this for me to see it. He believed, maybe even whoever signaled him, and that was a psychiatrist, Peter Kapsch, with Novo Mesto police investigators, that I would actually see this as a gun. No, I didn't see it as a gun. Let's go back to the subject. Why this video? This isn't about me. They had these kids from the school. These kids were, who the hell knows? Well, they at the high school for technicians, or were they for already in maybe doing a higher education, you know what I mean? But still, these are kids. I'm 53 years old. You know, when I posted a comment a little earlier, it was not a comment, it was the comment. Because the times I'm coming from, and they don't want to admit, I also saw the video about the Trabant Club in Germany. I have no fucking idea what the name of the city is. It's some kind of Hunenbau, something like this. It's not too far from French border, you know. On a German side, where they have Ukrainians, girls, they were all involved in MKH, and also one girl from Russia. And they're depicting they were depicting I have no fucking idea. What is it? A German car, I think the name was NSU, but I'm not sure. But very look-alike, or vice versa, if you like. Through the two don't have nothing common, but the looks are somewhat similar. Was a Ukrainian car known as Zaporozhets. And why am I talking to you about this stuff? I'm talking to you about this stuff because That was the asylum, asylum location, But in the video, there was also a young boy, a German boy, um, who met me, and he got to know me before the fall of the Soviet Union, before the fall of the Iron Curtain. He also was in that video. He was just a little boy. And he already grew up into grown up. He was quite grown up. He was at least 14 years of age, for sure, when the Soviet Union had fallen down in DDR. I think the guy might be, I'm not going to go and say where he's from, because he was from the city, and the Berlin was not the only big city in Germany. So that doesn't make sense for me to guess about those issues. But here's the thing, I'm going to just watch the video. Here's the thing. The German boy who saw me, and he had two brothers, he is in this video about this Zaporozhets club in Germany, Zaporozhets Ukrainian car, Well, he said to me like this: the Cold War ended, and he figured out that I'm going to be a really, really rich man. He said, now you are going to be a really, really rich man. Because it was the end of the Cold War. And everybody was sure that I'm going to be so fucking rich that is going to be, for them, completely out of reach. They were involved in a lot of bad stuff. This is just the way MK Ultra was. And people were sure that they're going to lose me. That I'm going to get all the money in this world and I'm just going to stick to myself. And that's it, wealthy people, royal club and so on. And so it was this notion from the Eastern Germans that they're going to lose me, that this is going to be the end of it. Now, he did not know anything about me. He did not even know anything about his life. Isn't that funny? You talk about the Eastern European German, for whom I say he did not even know anything about his life. And I said this, he did not know anything about his life. What I mean by this is that his parents knew the truth. The younger generations do nothing about anything, just like this boy here, just like the other one in Belarus, just like all of you. You don't know nothing about life because also your parents don't know how to explain to you. And another thing is, they are oftentimes too dumb and too rotten to explain to you anything. It's just the way it is. I have parents of my own, I know, next to neighbors, the way I was growing up and all this stuff. I've seen it. To judge people for who and what they are. People in general are rotten. And it's that rottenness that gets on the way on explaining even their own children about how it is, really how it was, how it actually is. Not about how it was, because whatever it was is, this is the way it is. This is not necessary that this is the way it must be. This is why I'm making also this video. I am changing the world. I continue to change the world. I started to change the world when I was less than 1 year of age. Now I'm 53. They claim they don't see me, etc., etc. But who cares what they say? Before this boy came on the picture, I'm thinking about the boy. Actually, that was even in 2005. It was 2004 that before that, they start this club, this Zaporozhets, this with Ukrainians. 2003 they started. And I told the Ukrainians, I told them, fuck your Zaporozhets, you know. And I don't want to be part of this shit, you know. You're going to be Zaporozhets, it's going to be car Zaporozhets and so on. So I said, fuck this, you know. And as Germans, you know, I said, Angela, you know, what do these people the fuck want now? You know, it's end of the Cold War and so on, and now they bug me with this Zaporozhets ugly cars and so on, you know. This was under MK Ultra, you have to understand. I've seen more ugly stuff in one MK Ultra session that you would get to see in 10 lifetimes. Okay? I am responsible for the Lada Samara, never forget that. And that was the best looking car ever in the Eastern Europe. So, way before the Skoda appeared. What is the name? Whatever. They did have also a good-looking Skoda they came up with. But nothing was really like a Lada Samara. But anyhow, it doesn't matter. It was designed by the Volkswagen, by the Porsche and so on. But it doesn't matter. Let's leave that stuff alone. I told them, what is it they want? I told them they want the fucking car and then put the factory over there so they can have these cars, you know, so they can look like a cars, you know, like a modern cars. You're not gonna with the fucking old Zaporozhets terrorize me, you know. And they had this German, this NSU or whatever the fuck that was. I don't know what the name of that car was. Ugly motherfuckers, say Trabants and so on, and these old Skodas. All of a sudden, it was a nostalgia, you know, that exploded about the Soviet Union, about old cars. And I know that it was not easy in Eastern Germany when there was a transition. I'm completely aware of all that stuff, you know. But these kids, you know, they were not fucking aware of anything. Kids in Slovenia are even worse, much worse, because they didn't go through anything. Slovenia only had a 14-day war, half a month war only. They dumped a few bombs on it and took a few tanks for a ride through Ljubljana and so on, you know. They did exchange few bullets with one another, wounded few people, and then that was the end of the war that lasted 14 days, right? And so it was not like in Croatia or like in Bosnia, where people understand, and I'm going to say understand, but remember, they have no fucking nostalgia for Serbia. You understand? People in Chechnya got fucked by your politicians, but your Western conscience. You destroyed Chechnya. And you also destroyed other countries next to Chechnya too. Now they are prisoners of your conscience more than anything else, your Western conscience. I told them, if you want wherever the fuck you want, get yourself a job in Germany, or Germans should bring the factory to the Ukraine, and you know, you like German married a lady who is now the president of this club of Zaporozhets. You know, the Ukrainian lady is fanatic, a good lady, really good woman. There is no doubt about that. All those ladies are very good women, but here's the deal, you know. Yeah, I mean, I wanted her. I mean, and the thing is, it was a German guy who took her. You know, he took her for a test ride instead. Anyhow, I figure out, I just saw this video that she's much older than myself. She must be at least 15 years older than myself. And so, yeah, I understand. Although I do not understand anything really. Why should I? Anyhow, His parents, talking about the German guy, failed to explain their kids, and that he got two older brothers, and those two older brothers were rotten. They were up to no good. Talking about this Eastern German kid in that movie about this Trabant. They were no good. They were no good. That's why I also talk about that comment that I posted over there under that SS Gestapo girl, whom you British, Germans, Americans have dedicated, a line of your conscience, basically demonstrated me that you get to see whatever the fuck you want to see. And not for what it is. And don't see whatever the fuck you don't want to see. That's why I'm very careful with the stuff that I said earlier. I keep changing the world. Yes, I do. But I'm not going to make mistakes that you made me make, and mistakes that other people because of me would make, so that history easily could repeat itself again. Nobody explained to that German kid, reminded his older brothers, that till I came into Germany, and this is because of you, Angela Merkel, this is because of you, Schröder, because of all of you politicians, German politicians, every fucking one of you, older generation, that you dealt with talking about the Western Germany, not Eastern Germany. Forget about Eastern Germany. But Western German politicians, this is your fault. You did this shit to me. Not Eastern Germans that went on to see themselves in you, in corruption, in a criminality, instead of recognizing me. Just remember, Germans in Eastern Germany, your fathers, your grandfathers, your grandmothers, and your mothers lived in a total terror, in a total fear for life, from one day to another, till I came on the picture. Just remember what I told you right now. Till I came on the picture, you in Eastern Germany lived by the principles of your Gestapo during the World War II, your Gestapo laws during the World War II in Poland, in Czech Republic, in Yugoslavia, Kingdom of SHS, whatever you want to call that failed Serbian mixture, creation, I should say. Just remember, you lived in fear, in a terror, from one day to another. And just because you did not pass the truth onto your children, onto your grandchildren, remember when I tell you that people are rotten. In general, they're rotten. That doesn't mean that I did not exist, and that your politicians, your German politicians, your Haupt politicians that you have throughout the Germany didn't fail to explain you about who and what I was. It makes a rotten conscience when you as a kid, when you as a child, not so liable because you don't remember how it was before I came on the picture, because you didn't even exist before I came on a picture. I completely relaxed Soviet occupation of Eastern Germany, completely. I make actually life livable for the Germans. This is how big I was. And the bigger I was, the bigger the disgusting, the dirtier the German secret, which I stated that it's solely West, the one that is guilty for whatever happened to me. It's a dirty, filthy stuff that you are taking, but at the same time expressing the concerns for the issues that you don't actually even have the right to express, to put it plain and simple, without the permission of the global society, therefore without the permission of the universal human conscience. You understand the degree of the hypocrisy, how obnoxious this stuff is to me, in my eyes. This boy here, that you see here, just as I say about other boys that I have seen, I have no idea what he saw in me. He said he didn't, I don't think he liked me really. But at least this is what he had to indicate to the police investigator, that he was next to me. And that's what I understood. I wasn't picky. I didn't care what you think about me. I didn't care. I saw so many of you that I learned that as person as big as I am, look, I was thrown through more tests on a single MK Ultra procedure than any king in his life was dumped. I'm going to say to you, in the history of the world, the people who judged and decided about other people's lives, and or were at times even challenged, thrown to the test themselves, in a single MK Ultra session that I would go through, I would go through more than if any one of your people that you had in the history of the world would go through in 10 lifetimes. You understand? It wasn't about me, what I saw in you. It was about what you have seen in mirror. I was your mirror. I was nothing other than your mirror. That's all I was. It wasn't about me. It was all about you. It was all about how, and this is what life is all about. It's all about how you see yourself in a mirror. Because life is your mirror. And it doesn't matter whether you are in Belarus or Russia or Slovenia or Czech Republic or Slovakia or, or in China, or you are in Japan, or you are in Germany. You could be a German. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. You have to make decision for yourself about who and what you are. I suggest you those decisions be based on your past, on your knowledge. That's why I stated I keep changing the world. I keep providing the material for you so that I can remind and open your eyes in respect to something your rotten parents and grandparents don't want to know about because they're too fucking ignorant to explain to you who you are. This guy could work inside of the SS concentration camp. This guy could be from the Belarus. This guy could be a Russian. Could be a Red Army officer. This guy could be a Serb. He could be a German. But none of this stuff should determine about who he is, what he is. If you understand my message. You should be the one who should determine for yourself who you are, not the politicians. Whether you are in China, or you're in Japan, or you're in India, or wherever the fuck you are. I was used, just remember one thing, to be the most evil person in the world, so that they could modify the society, talking about the politicians, according to their taste, according to their political agenda. Is there such thing like a political agenda? Is it? I mean, you had Thailand cooperating with the Nazis, and Japan. You had Chinese that cooperated with Japan, with the Nazis, and so on. You had the Russians that enlisted themselves into a Japanese military, Nazi military. You have all kinds of phenomena. Not black people, not even black people was safe from this shit. And I like the blacks from Africa I really like the bright colors and stuff, and happy people. And so these people were happy and well dressed, and sure enough, the politicians affiliated them with the Nazism. The black politicians started to go after them and affiliated them with the Nazism, with me. On the other hand, I had a real Nazis involved in it. Like top Nazis with a lot of money. I'm not going to go after the names. That wanted people to feel sorry for me, but this is London actually I'm talking about. Fuck this, it's about London. Who loved me so much, so dearly, that they were my parents, my brothers, they already found me many wives in a royal circle, including their daughters, who sympathized with me so much and just found a way through the shit they created in certain parts of the world against certain people, including black people, whatever, that they started to get prosecuted. And what black people and Asian people and South American people even figure out is a good business, because once you start to act like you are prosecuted, and Chinese, yeah, once you start to act like you are prosecuted, you immediately got a call from 1-800 London Cabal, who, for my sake, in a parenthesis, and I understand that you understand that this is bullshit, there was no such thing like concern for me, started to express interest for them and support for them, and demanded from their governments to see them in a different light, and so on and so forth, in exchange for money, and of course in exchange for more torture against me. This isn't about me, how you see yourself in life. It's about all you men, wherever you are in Africa or you're in South America, Central America, whatever, Greenlandia, or you're, I don't know, wherever the fuck you are, Germany or France or Spain or Canada or Australia or whatever, Vietnam, whatever, you name it. Wherever the hell you are, this is about you and your politicians. Now you have to decide, is it more about you or is it going to be more about the politicians? I like it. This picture here, it doesn't bother me. This I used to put, you see, just like this against the head of the police officer. I'm going to cross this name here. And the address. There's not going to be my father on the picture and my address. And imagine for a moment that's a gun. This here. And what I do is, I let him pull the trigger to blow his own head off. We don't have a politicians. We don't have a police. We have a scum. We have a filth. We have a dunk. We have a murderers. We have a killers, assassins, ladies and gentlemen, that work 24/7 for the worst of this world. So for no wonder, the legacy about the World War II is completely lost. The world is being modified, changed. I hope this boy is going to forgive me for this. And I hope it's going to be a valuable lesson. You should always put yourself in front of politicians. You should always see yourself for what you are. You're going to be so mentally ill, boy. You're going to see the world so distorted in such a way. And on the long term to society, it brings nothing good, but a lot of misfortune, that you're going to be sorry you were born. We're in a world of really bad people running the show, doing the stuff based on their own agenda, based on their views, needs they have. Using us, I'm going to say us, but our conscience, to the bitter end, till, as you can learn from from my own example, we simply exterminate one another. Ourselves, basically. That's all I wanted to say for this video. I think it's quite a good video, and it does apply to my case, MK Ultra. This is what the world is made out of. I hope this gun scanner is gonna serve this boy for many more years, if this is what makes him happy. Finally, he got his job at Kirka Pharmaceutical, and that's nice. That's why they said utrip means a beat, and they suggested to be your heartbeat and so on, and blah, blah, blah. All these people, suppose, were involved in it. I haven't seen every picture of it, but entire Kirka Pharmaceutical, yes, was involved in this stuff. So let this be a lesson, and it doesn't matter where you are located at. Yeah, it is disgusting. It's disgusting when I consider the stuff that the Germans had me in Germany, and they did express concerns for my views on this SS Gestapo lady in 2011, something like that. I was truly angry about the Polacks, about Czechs, about their way, the way they handle this. You know, I don't understand why they even discuss the issue of the Russia when Russia did not exist. This is what I did not understood when it comes to Polacks, Ukrainians, Czechs, Slovaks, and so on. Why the fuck do you worry about the Russia when Russia doesn't exist for other than for the dead? You know, when something is out there just to get you killed, you should simply cross it out. And you should worry about, you should pay attention to the issues that concern your well-being, existence. You should worry about how much difference you can make in that part of the world for better, not worse. To secure yourself existence with people that are more or less like-minded and are willing to work. I suggested the Ukrainians to get themselves wives and husbands from Germany, and the Germans to, to go to Ukraine and get women and so on. And I created a whole bunch of, there was a whole bunch of Germans, young Germans that started to see themselves in me, in these things, and they started to, just the way I would want, it all started to function really well. It was very good. Ukrainians are good for business, open-minded. They have gone through hard stuff. They know what life is all about. Just like Germans, it was easy to connect them together. It works because the two went through a whole lot of stuff, through a lot of experience, which, however, I hope is going to contribute to the world. There is a reason why I don't even comment about the Russia and about the Serbia. If I do, I put them in a light for what they are. That's, that I would go and search for something within Russia and Serbia. They have a long way to go. They have a long fucking way to go. I don't even understand the Russians at all. How they can go to the front line wearing the military uniforms. I don't even fucking understand you. You all forgot about my case. But what you care? Forget about my case. My case liberated Russia a lot. Russian people, for the first time, after a very, very long time, they started to feel like a people again, too. Yeah, look at those movies from the Russian psychiatric asylums, how they treated Russian people in Russia through the psychiatry, how they executed people and so on. I brought a big changes to this world. I changed this world more than any human being ever changed this world, ever. Possibly could even imagine could change one. And I did one with the principles that were non-negotiable principles. And I did this on example. I didn't rule from Buckingham Palace with a stick in the hands. Imagining, basically, through imagination. Using the reporters to blah, 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 blah. How it shall be, etc., etc. I ruled, I literally ruled through example. Not through the Buckingham Palace with a stick. I was out on a field for people to see it. And I was back in life for people to see it. I am unwilling to bend down in front of it. Because it's what life demands from me, needs to be done. Every one of us, whoever you are, and it doesn't matter where you are from, you have to apologize your existence. You have to apologize. You owe this. I am not going to say to whom you owe, because I don't care to whom you owe. Whether you owe this to the Allah, or you owe this to the Jesus Christ, or you owe this to your mama, or you owe this to your papa. Maybe just like myself, you only owe it to yourself and to God, whatever you call your God. Like I said, I don't want to offend anybody. You understand? None of you have the right to just go, disappear out of the sight without explaining why you were in this world. This is what made me. This is what built me. When I started to work on this project in 2006, after applying for the jobs and so on, 2007, realizing that I made yet another round around after 11 and a half years. For the first time, I returned to Slovenia in vain for nothing, basically, just so that I can pay more for the job search and stuff and be set by the police here in Slovenia. I understood what I need to do, what I need to get done before it's going to get too late. It's only too late when you don't apologize why you were here. Everybody has its legacy. Everybody has its purpose to the world. Every one of you, every one of us. Today, I don't even feel good about saying this to you because I have gone through and I managed through. I don't know what the outcome of all this is going to be. But for me, it's no less what I wanted to accomplish in 2006. And I knew it's going to be a long and bloody way through. I don't know. It was different stages I've gone through. I never wrote any book. It was first time in 2007 I started to write book. One evening, I couldn't sleep no more. And I sat at the table in my room and I just started to hit the keyboard, just letter after letter. And I said to myself, I'm going to type this for as long as I'm going to be capable to type it. And so it went. And it went one page after another, one day after another. And there was just so much to type without even my wanting to mention MK Ultra, because all I wanted to do is I wanted to stop this crime against me. It was just never-ending story. And even the stuff that I have written was just quarter of the truth, of the real truth. The real truth was 1,000 times weirder and more twisted that I did not dare to write about because I didn't want to be labeled as a schizophrenic, as a paranoid. You look at those movies in Russia about the old psychiatry in Russia, you're going to see that they treated you like animals. And that's exactly where you're heading to. You're heading right back to those times. Thanks for watching this video. This time I'm not going to say till the next time because you're lucky to see it. You're really lucky to see the video like this. The video you should turn into the MP4 format, save one to your computer so you can demonstrate one to your children so they will understand everything about how it works in this world. At least it did for the last 53 years.